Welcome to the show. I'm thinking about changing the name to Hungover with Biggs or Hangover with Biggs or Try Not to Vomit with Biggs. Anyway, how you guys doing? We are here to discuss starts and sits, uh, injuries, NFL injuries, um, and just generally what we're doing on this Sunday. So sit back, eat your breakfast, grab yourself a bubbly beverage. Ah, hydrate. You know what I mean? It's going to be 90 today, and let's get this thing started. Get in the comment section. Jump into the comments, and let's talk about some things. It's week 3. There's one game in the books. That was the Jets and the Patriots. Aaron Rodgers looked good. Garrett Wilson looks good. Tyler Conklin. Some of you I told I'm not starting him, and I didn't, but he had quite a few points. New news this morning. Evan Ingram is out. Tank Bigsby is questionable. My favorite name in football, Darnell Savage. Darnell Savage, safety for the Jaguars. I want a Jaguars jersey that just says Savage on the back. I think that's so fucking cool. You know what I mean? Darnell Savage is out. Terrell Bernard and Teron Johnson, 2 guys that I own a lot of in IDP leagues. They are out. Updates from the Commanders game. Cleveland Ferrell, Emmanuel Forbes. Cleveland Ferrell is out. The Raiders' huge 104 faceplant. He is out against the Bengals. Tanner Hudson, tight end for the Bengals, is out. Sheldon Rankins is out. BJ Hill is doubtful. Another guy I have a lot of in IDP. Von Bell, safety, and Chris Jenkins, defensive tackle, are questionable. And other than that, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, out. Nick Bosa, questionable. The big hurt to me, shout out Frank Thomas, is Evan Ingram. Why does it? First of all, why does Evan Ingram have to suck? And also, why does he have to be hurt? 150 targets last year, and I go ahead and draft him everywhere, and then he does nothing. Anyway, since the comment section is not lighting up, I'm gonna let you guys listen to my dog. There it is. Yep, there's another one. Love you, Murdoch. Okay. Yeah, I have a 100-pound pit bull, and he sounds like it. So I'm gonna run through, and while you guys are here, let's start doing some starts and sits. All right. First, I'm going to go to the Evan Ingram page. And he's officially listed as out. So in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 sleeper leagues. I'm going to go ahead and sit him. Oh, good Lord. I can't do that right now. Where's the chat, you guys? I need your start and sit questions. I need more than 0 people watching. What is happening? Did you know there's football on today? We have NFL games going. Yeah, they're starting in a couple hours. Yeah. I guess all of your lineups are totally fine. You don't need any help whatsoever. Is that the takeaway? Is that the takeaway from all this? Ooh, I know what I can do. I can go to YouTube. Hit play. Look there. There's one person watching. It's me. Now I'm gonna put it on my TV. It's funny because my oh yeah, there it is. The one person watching. Me. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and like the video. Boom. Haha, there's a like. Why does it say the Zach Bradley? What is Streamlabs? I hate Streamlabs. bigz is me. There we go. Yeah. Oh, look. 2 people watching. Still just me. Welcome, anybody, to the redheaded stepchild of Fantasy Football Advice Network. I don't know if you're a redhead or a stepchild, but I mean no offense. What do I mean by the stepchild of Fantasy Football Advice Network? I don't have an intro video. I don't have an overlay. I made my own thumbnail. To be fair, Schultze made me a thumbnail also. Schultze is our intrepid producer for the Fantasy Forecast. Schultze did make me an overlay, and for that I'm grateful. I'm not lamenting the things I don't have. I'm grateful for the things I do have. So thank you, Schultze, and shout out. Greinberg and I talked about him coming on the show this morning and him having some breakfast and coming on the show with his breakfast because it's called Breakfast with bigz. This is my breakfast. Guess who's not here? Greinberg. I guess he's big league now. Too good for my show because he was on with Jax Falcone on the Undrafted show over at wherever you get your podcasts from. Go ahead and download that episode of Undrafted with Greinberg and Jax Falcone. Oh, looky there. It is you. It is you. C3PO. Shout out. Anybody? Got any starts or sits questions there, Greinberg? Aw. He does care. Waddle or Dell? I'm going Dell. I mean, I don't know, actually. Yeah, I mean, you got to go with Dell's target share. It's 11%. Dell and Stephon Diggs have the same target share? Waddle is playing with Skylar Thompson against the Seattle defense. Seattle's going to control the ball with Charbonnet. They have the 3rd ranked pass defense, 4th ranked pass defense of the week. So somebody is going to be on Waddle that we don't want on Waddle if we're starting Waddle. But Tank Dell going up against the Minnesota Vikings, the new regime of the new version of the Purple People Eaters. I'm going with Dell. Gino or Darnold? Shout out FF Rabbit Dad. It's not Bradshaw or Bradford. See, even I got the name wrong. That's how that's how irrelevant Sam Darnold is. I called him Bradshaw. It's not Bradford. It's Darnold. All right, Gino or Darnold. I'm going Gino. I'm trying to convince myself of why I would go. Nope, I'm going Darnold. Miami's a tough matchup on the defensive side of the ball. So yeah. Yeah, let me tell you guys about somebody. If I told you that there was a running back who on the season has 393 rushing yards and 196 receiving yards, let's call that 600 total yards in 4 games and 5 touchdowns. Last night, he had 163 yards from scrimmage, 120 yards rushing, 43 yards receiving on 5 catches. So that's a good 9.3 points in fantasy. He also had 2 touchdowns on the ground and 1 touchdown in the air. So overall total line last night, 163 total yards, 5 catches, 3 touchdowns. You'd want that guy in fantasy, right? 600 total yards from scrimmage and 5 touchdowns in 4 games. I'd like you to Google the name Lan, L-A-N, Larison, L-A-R-I-S-O-N. Lan Larison. You've all heard of Dylan Laube, right? In 2025, there is another Lan Larison, UC Davis running back. He's essentially the Lan Larison of the 2025 draft class. He plays right here in Davis, California, and I'm here for it. Guess who I'm drafting in the 5th round in my home league rookie draft next year? Smurfs Dynasty League. You people, even if you're not watching, don't take Lan Larison from me. All right, we got about 20 minutes left before the next show starts. What if I try and see how long I can go with just dead air, just silence? Would that be fun? Yeah, it's 8:10 on the West Coast. I woke up at 7:30 a.m. so that I could present this show to you, dedicated watcher, dedicated viewer. And you didn't even show up. I did my part. I even tweeted about it. I said, hey, meet me here. We'll talk about some things. And you didn't show up. The only thing I can gather from that is that your lineup is set and you don't need any help. I do know somebody who does need help. That's Sean Devine, but I don't think he's awake yet. I told him I'd talk to him at 9:30. He has a tough matchup against Ebo in a redraft league, and he's been dealing with a bunch of injuries. So he had me go through his lineup, make some ad drops and such, and hopefully we're gonna eke out a win for him. 19 more minutes. So this is one of those times where you just got to wonder, is it worth it? Do I stick around for the next 18 minutes with zero participation? No, I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to talk about some things. All right, let's talk about my props bets. Go ahead and tail if you would like. On Underdog, this is what I'm waiting for today. CeeDee Lamb is the over on 0.5 total yards. That's the freebie. Zamir White, over half a touchdown, rushing or receiving. I took that one. I mean, the guy doesn't score a lot of touchdowns, but if he can do that, that would be great. Jamison Williams, 53.5 receiving yards. That's 2 catches for him. Brock Bowers, higher, 79.5 receiving yards. That's a regular day at the office. Jordan Mason with a touchdown. He's my RB1 for the week on Fantasy Pros rankings. Jake Moody, 7.5 kicking points. He's playing the Rams. If he has 3 field goals, or if he has 2 field goals and 2 extra points, he nails it. Carson Steele, 56.5 rushing and receiving yards. I took the over on that. And Lamar Jackson to score a touchdown. How do you like those props? Oh, hey, heck, we've got people. All right, Bears D or Chargers D or Seahawks D today. Well, let's see. Seahawks are above average, and they're the 4th ranked pass defense this week. Chargers D, they're about average against the pass. They're top 5 against the run, which is essentially what the Steelers have. And the Bears D, going against Indianapolis, the Bears have the 2nd best run defense, and their passing defense is about average. And then you have to consider turnovers. Who is more likely to turn over the ball? Anthony Richardson, Justin Fields, or Skylar Thompson. I'm going Seattle. Thank you for your question, Jorge. I'm going Seattle, and I have receipts. I am starting Seattle. I picked them up in a few leagues. Shaheed or Monty? Shaheed. I'm assuming, Mike, that you are in a flex spot. Monty, his best opportunity is going to be a vulture touchdown. And Rashid Shaheed is going against the best matchup for wide receivers of the week. So I'm going Shaheed. But I do share that situation. Ridley or Waddle. Then I have White or Monty. I'm assuming you mean Zamir White. And I've got money on Zamir White scoring a touchdown. I would think that Monty scores a touchdown also. But and then Ridley or Waddle. That's tough. I don't like either of them. Green Bay's a better matchup than Seattle. And but now you're asking, is Will Levis a better quarterback than Skylar Thompson? I feel like the answer is yes, just based on what Levis has done so far this year. I'm going Ridley. As much as I hate to say it, I'm sorry for your plight, Jorge. That's the or do I start the two running backs? I feel like the upside for Ridley is higher. But isn't it such a state that we put ourselves in fantasy drafts when we're like looking at when we're speculating what's going to happen this season? Zamir White, he had a really good 4 games last year. I think I'm going to take a chance that he's going to do it again. Calvin Ridley, a few years ago, he was top 12 wide receiver. Maybe Will Levis can make the jump. I'm going to go ahead and draft Jalen Waddle. He's a good wide receiver too, and Tua's a good quarterback. And then here we are, week 3, and we're like, what do I do? It sucks. Ladd or Worthy? God, come on, Mike. I feel like you got to go Ladd. Just they established Quentin Johnston last week, and he earned some targets, which means that the Steelers are likely going to have Joey Porter Jr. hovering around Quentin Johnston, and that opens everything up for Ladd. Plus, Ladd is we know Ladd's upside. We know Quentin Johnston's upside, and I think he reached his ceiling last week. So Ridley and Monty. I think I'm going Ridley and Zamir White. I'm gonna stay on the Zamir White train. They play the Panthers this week, and Carolina doesn't have a good run defense. They tend to funnel the run. I don't think Alexander Mattison is going to get his vulture touchdown this week. I think it's going to be the Zamir White show. And so I'm going Ridley and Zamir White. Yeah. Perfect. Jorge thinks that that's perfect. And also, Greinberg thinks so too. We have a consensus. Nothing's wrong with Pittman. I kind of think you have to start him. That's a terrible matchup. It's not a terrible matchup. It's a bad matchup. I think you have to start Pittman. Chicago's really, really good against the run. I'm fading Jonathan Taylor this week because I think Chicago is going to shut the run down, which means that Richardson is going to have to run the ball himself and also throw the ball a lot. Josh Downs is back, and Alec Pierce is good, and but Pittman has, he has the snap share. He's targeted, and if they're going to do some things against that Bears defense, then it's gonna be Pittman. I don't know. You kind of have to start Pittman. It is vomitous. God, Jorge, your team sucks. I'm kidding. It's actually a really good team. That's kind of what I was saying. You go into the draft and you're like, Pittman, bing, Waddle, bing, hell yeah. Calvin Ridley, wide receiver 3, heck yeah. Zamir White, David Montgomery, all kinds of upside. And then we get to week 3 and it's like, what happened? Akers, Samaje Perine, Kincaid, Chase Brown, Myers. You got to go Akers and Kincaid. Akers and Kincaid. I mean, that's like off the rip. That's my thought is Akers and Kincaid, just because of the volume that Akers should get. And those are different leagues. I was kidding anyway. Your team doesn't suck. All right. Well, that's gonna do it, you guys. I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna go spend the next hour and a half setting my own lineups and see what the hell my dog is chewing on right now, because I can hear him in the hallway tearing him up. Where I have Pittman, I'm gonna be 0-3. You know, what can you say though? You know, like in the draft, who were the options when you drafted Pittman? Are they doing much better? Like, who were you trying to decide between? You're welcome, Jorge. You know, like I certainly drafted my share of Pittman. He's a wide receiver 1 on a team where Anthony Richardson is supposed to take the leap this year, take the next step up in terms of quarterback ability. You know, we're also 2 games in, getting ready to start the 3rd. There's still 15 games left. It's not like it can't happen. But you know, a lot of us had the same thought process as you did, Jorge. Pittman is a wide receiver 1. Anthony Richardson is going to be a top 10 fantasy quarterback. He's going to take the next step in the NFL, and so boom, grab him. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Maybe next week I'll have an intro video and an outro video and everything. And for today, I hope you win.